know you used to see it. Ah. I wanted it like this. I have you flipped around. Um, the camera's on my left side. Ivy, stop. She wants her coffee. Um, 15 to 20. So we're just gonna do a Bible reading. All right. Mm. Hold on. I gotta share this out too. Yeah. I stayed up really late last night. I didn't sleep that all that much. On Michelle's Creative Corner. Come check that out. Come on, let's go. Good morning. It's devotion time. There's something that they did on Instagram. It's more like an experiment how people would react. I think a video. Like this woman, it really did happen to a woman before with her toddler outside and this guy just sat with the toddler. The mother got on the subway and so she got off at the very next stop and just she ran down. No, she got on the next one that was going back. I I believe. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but the guy sat there with the baby, with the toddler, and just talked with him and got him to stop crying. His daughter, Mommy will be back. The door's closed before you got on. And she was crying, and I hugged the man, and the man says, "It's okay. Just make sure you pick your child up to go on there. That might be a better idea." Okay. Remove from favorites because we're done with that. Young people ask. I might actually read. Oh, that's what I have to read in Psycho. I gotta read all that. I gotta read all that. Oh, that's right. She told me what to. No, I forgot what she told me to. I'll look it up from the thing. So, because close to Jehovah, we're almost done with that too, I believe. And when we do, I have something else we can do. The origin of life. 5 questions worth asking. And that's short. So if we do click on the first one, question 1, if they're all so short, no, we're not. I won't do it all. Um, okay, there. Our next project is ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna listen to the Bible and let's just. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you, Jehovah, for another beautiful day on your beautiful earth. And thank you for allowing us to wake up today. And thank you for what you did for us in the past, present, and what you will do for us in the future. I appreciate everything you have done for us. And I'm sorry for my sins, and I'm sorry for. I try my best, but everybody falls short. And we're sorry for that. Jehovah, please continue to help the Bingham family and the Adams family. Probably the last time I say it because, well, no, just give them mental, physical strength, and continue to help Braxton with his arm, let it heal nice and good and perfect, and continue to look at help Tate, Cindy Lee, King Charles, Princess Kate, Jen's friend Shannon, and Danielle Fischel, also known as Topanga. They all have cancer, different stages, and different kinds of cancer. And Tate also has a heart condition. Celine Dion has stiff person syndrome. Jenny has a lot of ailments like vertigo, arthritis, um, she was just diagnosed with something. Um, oh, no, vertigo, yeah. Oh, she has fibro as well. Continue to help Christina, Tiffany, Robin Taylor, Miss Diane and daughter, Arnie, Vicky and family, Carol and mom. Please help them. In Jesus' name, amen. Oh, I thought I had a sneeze. Watch the sneeze will come out in the least time that you want it to.
Chapter 15. Now the Spirit of God came upon Azariah the son of Oded. So he went out to meet Asa, and said to him,
Hear me, O Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. Jehovah is with you as long as you remain with him. And if you search for him, he will let himself be found by you. But if you abandon him, he will abandon you. For a long time Israel had been without the true God, without a priest teaching, and without law. But when in their distress they returned to Jehovah the God of Israel, and searched for him, he let himself be found by them. In those times no one could travel safely, for there was much unrest among all the inhabitants of the lands. Nation was being hit by nation, and one city by another city, because God kept them in disorder with every sort of distress. But you, be strong, and do not become discouraged, for your activity will be rewarded.
As soon as Asa heard these words, and the prophecy of Oded the prophet, he took courage, and removed the disgusting idols from all the land of Judah and Benjamin, and from the cities that he had captured from the mountainous region of Ephraim, and he restored Jehovah's altar that was before the porch of Jehovah. And he gathered together all Judah and Benjamin, and the foreign residents with them from Ephraim and Manasseh and Simeon, for they had deserted to him from Israel in great number when they saw that Jehovah his God was with him. So they were gathered together at Jerusalem in the third month of the 15th year of Asa's reign.
Sorry,
That
guys.
day they sacrificed to Jehovah from the spoil they had brought 700 cattle and 7,000 sheep. Furthermore, they entered into a covenant to search for Jehovah the God of their forefathers with all their heart and with all their soul. Whoever would not search for Jehovah the God of Israel was to be put to death, whether small or great, man or woman. So they took an oath to Jehovah with a loud voice, with joyful shouting, and with the trumpets and horns. And all Judah rejoiced over the oath, for they had taken the oath with all their heart. And they eagerly sought him, and he let himself be found by them. And Jehovah continued to give them rest on every side. Asa the king even removed Maacah, his grandmother, from her position as queen mother, because she had made an obscene idol for the worship of the sacred pole. Asa cut down her obscene idol and pulverized it and burned it in the Kidron Valley. But the high places were not removed from Israel. Nevertheless, Asa's heart was complete all his life. And he brought the things that he and his father had made holy into the house of the true God, silver, gold, and various utensils. There was no war until the 35th year of Asa's reign.
Wow.
Chapter 16. In the 36th year of the reign of Asa, King Baasha of Israel came up against Judah and began to build up Ramah to prevent anyone from going out or coming in to King Asa of Judah. At that, Asa brought out silver and gold from the treasuries of Jehovah's house and the king's house, and sent them to King Ben-Hadad of Syria, who was dwelling in Damascus, saying,
"There is a treaty between me and you, and between my father and your father. I am sending you silver and gold. Come, break your treaty with King Baasha of Israel, so that he will withdraw from me."
Ben-Hadad listened to King Asa and sent the chiefs of his armies against the cities of Israel. And they...
Okay, guys, I forgot to say it. Get your coloring books out, or if you'd like to doodle, get a piece of paper and a marker and doodle. Or a pen and doodle. Or a pencil and doodle. You know, why not? Go for it.
cut down Ijon, Dan, Abel-maim, and all the storage places of the cities of Naphtali. When Baasha heard of it, he immediately quit building Ramah and abandoned his work on it. King Asa then took all Judah, and they carried off the stones and timbers of Ramah that Baasha had been building with, and with them he built up Geba and Mizpah. At that time, Hanani the seer came to King Asa of Judah and said to him,
"Because you relied on the king of Syria and did not rely on Jehovah your God, the army of the king of Syria has escaped out of your hand. Were not the Ethiopians and the Libyans a very great army with many chariots and horsemen? But because you relied on Jehovah, he gave them into your hand. For the eyes of Jehovah are roving about through all the earth to show his strength in behalf of those whose heart is complete toward him. You have acted foolishly in this matter. From now on, there will be wars against you."
However, Asa became offended at the seer and put him in prison because he was enraged at him over this. And Asa began to mistreat others among the people at that same time. Now, the history of Asa, from beginning to end, is written in the book of the Kings of Judah and of Israel. In the 39th year of his reign, Asa developed an ailment in his feet until he became very sick. And even in his sickness, he turned not to Jehovah, but to the healers. Then Asa was laid to rest with his forefathers. He died in the 41st year of his reign. So they buried him in the grand burial place that he had excavated for himself in the city of David, and they laid him on a bier that had been filled with balsam oil and different sorts of ingredients mixed into a specially made ointment. Further, they made an extraordinarily great funeral burning for him.
Wow.
Chapter 17. And his son Jehoshaphat became king in his
You okay?
place, and he strengthened his position over Israel. He stationed military forces
Abby.
in all the fortified cities of Judah, put garrisons in the land of Judah and
Sorry,
in the
she's
cities of Ephraim
weird.
that Asa his father had captured. Jehovah continued with Jehoshaphat because he walked in the former ways of his forefather David and did not search for the Baals. For he searched for the God of his father and followed his commandment and not the practices of Israel. Jehovah kept the kingdom firmly established in his hand, and all Judah continued to give gifts to Jehoshaphat, and he had riches and glory in abundance. His heart became bold in the ways of Jehovah, and he even removed the high places and the sacred poles from Judah. In the 3rd year of his reign, he sent for his princes, Ben-Hail, Obadiah, Zechariah, Nathanael, and Micaiah, to teach in the cities of Judah. There were Levites with them, Shemaiah, Nethaniah, Zebediah, Asahel, Shemiramoth, Jehonathan, Adonijah, Tobijah, and Tob-Adonijah, and along with them Elishama and Jehoram, the priests. They began teaching in Judah, taking with them the book of Jehovah's law, and they went around through all the cities of Judah, teaching among the people. And the dread of Jehovah came upon all the kingdoms of the land surrounding Judah, and they did not fight against Jehoshaphat. And the Philistines brought to Jehoshaphat gifts and money as tribute. The Arabs brought him 7,700 rams and 7,700 male goats from their flocks. Jehoshaphat grew greater and greater, and he continued building fortified places and storage cities in Judah. He carried out extensive projects in the cities of Judah, and he had soldiers, mighty warriors, in Jerusalem. These were grouped by their paternal houses. Of Judah, the chiefs of thousands, Adnah the chief, and with him were 300,000 mighty warriors. And under his command was Jehohanan the chief, and with him were 280,000. And also under his command was Amasiah the son of Zichri, who volunteered for Jehovah's service, and with him were 200,000 mighty warriors. And out of Benjamin was Eliada, a mighty warrior, and with him were 200,000 men, equipped with the bow and shield. And under his command was Jehozabad, and with him were 180,000 men, equipped for the army. These were ministering to the king, in addition to those whom the king put in the fortified cities throughout all Judah.
It's acting all crazy over there.
Chapter 18. Jehoshaphat had riches and glory in abundance, but he made a marriage alliance with Ahab. So years later he went down to Ahab at Samaria, and Ahab sacrificed sheep and cattle in abundance for him and for the people with him. And he urged him to go up against Ramoth Gilead. Then King Ahab of Israel said to King Jehoshaphat of Judah,
"Will you go with me to Ramoth Gilead?"
He replied to him,
I am the same as you, and my people are the same as your people, and will support you in the war.
But Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel,
First inquire, please, for the word of Jehovah.
So the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, 400 men, and said to them,
"Should we go to war against Ramoth Gilead, or should I refrain?"
So it was Gilead.
They said,
Go up, and the true God will give it into the king's hand.
Jehoshaphat then said,
Is there not here a prophet of Jehovah? Let us also inquire through him.
At that the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat,
"There is still one more man through whom we can inquire of Jehovah, but I hate him, for he never prophesies good things concerning me, but always bad. He is Micaiah, the son of Imlah."
However, Jehoshaphat said,
The king should not say such a thing.
So the king of Israel called a court official and said,
"Bring Micaiah, the son of Imlah, quickly."
Now the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat the king of Judah were each sitting on his throne, dressed in royal attire. They were sitting at the threshing floor at the entrance of the gate of Samaria, and all the prophets were prophesying before them. Then Zedekiah the son of Chenaanah made for himself iron horns, and said,
This is what Jehovah says. With these you will gore the Syrians until you exterminate them.
All the other prophets were prophesying the same way, saying,
"Go up to Ramoth Gilead, and you will be successful. Jehovah will give it into the king's hand."
So the messenger who went to call Micaiah said to him,
Look, the words of the prophets are unanimously favorable to the king. Let your word, please, become like theirs, and speak favorably.
But Micaiah said,
As surely as Jehovah is living, whatever my God says is what I will speak.
Then he came into the king, and the king asked him,
"Micaiah, should we go to war against Ramoth Gilead, or should I refrain?"
At once he replied,
Go up, and you will be successful. They will be given into your hand.
At that the king said to him,
"How many times must I put you under oath not to speak to me anything but the truth in the name of Jehovah.
So he said,
I see all the Israelites scattered on the mountains, like sheep that have no shepherd. Jehovah said, These have no master. Let each one go back to his house in peace.
Then the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat,
Did I not tell you? He will not prophesy good things concerning me, only bad.
Micaiah then said,
Therefore, hear the word of Jehovah. I saw Jehovah sitting on his throne, and all the army of the heavens standing at his right and at his left. Jehovah then said, Who will fool King Ahab of Israel, so that he will go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one was saying one thing, while another said something else. Then a spirit came forward and stood before Jehovah and said, I will fool him. Jehovah asked him, How will you do it? He replied, I will go out and become a deceptive spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. So he said, You will fool him, and what is more, you will be successful. Go out and do that. And now Jehovah has put a deceptive spirit in the mouth of these prophets of yours, but Jehovah has declared calamity for you.
Zedekiah the son of Kenaanah now approached and struck Micaiah on the cheek, and said,
Which way did the Spirit of Jehovah pass from me to speak with you?
Micaiah replied,
Look, you will see which way on the day when you will enter the innermost room to hide.
Then the king of Israel said,
Take Micaiah and turn him over to Amon, the chief of the city, and to Joash, the king's son. Tell them, This is what the king says. Put this fellow in the prison and feed him with a reduced allowance of bread and water until I return in peace.
But Micaiah said,
If you do return in peace, Jehovah has not spoken with me.
Then he added,
Take note, all you peoples.
So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat the king of Judah went up to Ramoth Gilead. The king of Israel now said to Jehoshaphat,
I will disguise myself and will go into the battle, but you should put on your royal attire.
So the king of Israel disguised himself, and they entered the battle. Now the king of Syria had ordered his chariot commanders,
Do not fight with anyone, small or great, except the king of Israel.
and as soon as the chariot commanders saw Jehoshaphat, they said to themselves,
It is the king of Israel.
So they turned to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat began to cry for help, and Jehovah helped him, and God at once diverted them from him. When the chariot commanders saw that it was not the king of Israel, they immediately turned back from following him. But one man shot his bow at random, and he struck the king of Israel between the joints of his coat of mail. So the king said to his charioteer,
Turn around and take me out of the battle, for I have been badly wounded.
The fighting raged throughout that day, and the king of Israel had to be propped up in the chariot facing the Syrians until the evening, and he died at sunset.
Back then they didn't know first aid.
Chapter 19. Then King Jehoshaphat of Judah returned safely to his own house in Jerusalem. Jehu, the son of Hanani the visionary, went out to meet him, and said to King Jehoshaphat,
Is it the wicked you should be helping? And is it those who hate Jehovah you should love? Because of this, the indignation of Jehovah is against you. Nevertheless, there are good things that have been found in you, because you cleared out the sacred poles from the land, and you have prepared your heart to search for the true God.
Jehoshaphat continued living in Jerusalem, and he went out again among the people from Beersheba to the mountainous region of Ephraim to bring them back to Jehovah, the God of their forefathers. He also appointed judges throughout the land in all the fortified cities of Judah, city by city. And he said to the judges,
Pay attention to what you are doing.
Oh, come on.
Do not judge for man, but
Sorry.
for Jehovah, and he is with you when you pass judgment. Now let the fear of Jehovah be upon you. Be careful about what you do, for with Jehovah our God there is no injustice, no partiality, no bribe taking.
In Jerusalem also, Jehoshaphat appointed some of the Levites and the priests and some of the heads of the paternal houses of Israel to serve as judges for Jehovah and to settle legal cases for the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And he commanded them,
This is what you should do in the fear of Jehovah, with faithfulness and a complete heart. Whenever your brothers living in their cities bring a legal case that involves the shedding of blood, or a question about a law, a commandment, regulations, or judgments, you should warn them so that they may not become guilty before Jehovah. Otherwise, his indignation will come against you and your brothers. This is what you should do, so that you may not incur guilt. Here is Amariah, the chief priest, who is over you for every matter of Jehovah. Zebediah, the son of Ishmael, is the leader of the house of Judah for every matter pertaining to the king. And the Levites will serve as officers for you. Be strong and act, and let Jehovah be with those who do what is good.
Chapter 20. Afterward, the Moabites and the Ammonites, together with some of the Ammonim, came to wage war against Jehoshaphat. So Jehoshaphat was told,
A large crowd has come against you from the region of the sea, from Edom, and there they are in Hazazon Tamar, that is, in Gedi.
At that, Jehoshaphat became afraid, and he resolved to search for Jehovah. So he proclaimed a fast for all Judah. The people of Judah then gathered together to inquire of Jehovah. They came from all the cities of Judah to consult Jehovah. Then Jehoshaphat stood up in the congregation of Judah and Jerusalem in the house of Jehovah before the new courtyard. And he said,
O Jehovah, the God of our forefathers, are you not God in the heavens? Do you not have dominion over all the kingdoms of the nations? In your hand are power and might, and no one can stand against you. O our God, did you not drive away the inhabitants of this land from before your people Israel, and then give it as a lasting possession to the offspring of your friend Abraham? And they settled in it, and they built for you there a sanctuary for your name, saying, If disaster should come on us, whether by sword, adverse judgment, pestilence, or famine, let us stand before this house and before you, for your name is in this house, and call to you for help out of our distress, and may you hear and save us. Now here are the men of Ammon, Moab, and the mountainous region of Seir, whom you did not allow Israel to invade when they came out of the land of Egypt. They turned away from them and did not annihilate them. Now they are repaying us by coming in to drive us out from your possession that you gave us as an inheritance. O our God, will you not execute judgment on them? For we are powerless before this large crowd that is coming against us, and we do not know what we should do, but our eyes are toward you.
Meanwhile, all those of Judah were standing before Jehovah, along with their little ones, their wives, and their children. Then, in the middle of the congregation, the Spirit of Jehovah came upon Jahaziel, son of Zechariah, son of Benaiah, son of Jael, son of Mattaniah the Levite, of the sons of Asaph. He said,
Pay attention, all Judah and you inhabitants of Jerusalem and King Jehoshaphat. Here is what Jehovah says to you. Do not be afraid or be terrified because of this large crowd. For the battle is not yours, but God's. Tomorrow, go down against them. They will be coming up by the pass of Ziz, and you will find them at the end of the valley before the wilderness of Jeruel. You will not need to fight this battle. Take your position, stand still, and see the salvation of Jehovah in your behalf. O Judah and Jerusalem, do not be afraid or be terrified. Tomorrow go out against them, and Jehovah will be with you.
At once Jehoshaphat bowed low with his face to the ground, and all Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell down before Jehovah to worship Jehovah. Then the Levites, who were descendants of the Kohathites and the Korahites, rose up to praise Jehovah the God of Israel with a very loud voice. They rose up early the next morning and went out to the wilderness of Tekoa. As they went out, Jehoshaphat stood up and said,
Listen to me, O Judah, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem. Put faith in Jehovah your God, so that you may be able to stand firm. Put faith in his prophets, and you will be successful.
After he consulted with the people, he appointed men to sing to Jehovah and to offer praise in holy adornment as they went out ahead of the armed men, saying, Give thanks to Jehovah, for his loyal love endures forever.
Amen.
When they began joyfully singing praises, Jehovah set an ambush against the men of Ammon, Moab, and the mountainous region of Seir who were invading Judah, and they struck each other down. And the Ammonites and the Moabites turned against the inhabitants of the mountainous region of Seir to destroy and annihilate them. And when they finished with the inhabitants of Seir, they helped to destroy one another. But when Judah came to the watchtower of the wilderness and looked toward the crowd, there they saw their carcasses fallen to the ground. There were no survivors. So Jehoshaphat and his people came to carry off the spoil from them, and they found among them an abundance of goods, clothing, and desirable articles, which they stripped off for themselves until they could carry no more. It took 3 days to carry off the spoil, for it was abundant. On the 4th day they congregated together at the valley of Berakah, for there they praised Jehovah. That is why they named that place Valley of Berakah, until today. Then all the men of Judah and Jerusalem, with Jehoshaphat at their head, returned to Jerusalem with rejoicing, for Jehovah had made them rejoice over their enemies. So they came into Jerusalem with stringed instruments, harps, and trumpets, and went to the house of Jehovah. And the dread of God came upon all the kingdoms of the lands when they heard that Jehovah had fought against the enemies of Israel. Thus the kingdom of Jehoshaphat had no disturbance, and his God continued to give him rest on every side. And Jehoshaphat continued reigning over Judah. He was 35 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 25 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. He kept walking in the way of his father Asa. He did not deviate from it, and he did what was right in Jehovah's eyes. However, the high places were not removed, and the people had not yet prepared their heart for the God of their forefathers. As for the rest of the history of Jehoshaphat, from beginning to end, there it is written among the words of Jehu the son of Hanani, which were included in the book of the kings of Israel. After this, King Jehoshaphat of Judah made an alliance with King Ahaziah of Israel, who acted wickedly. So he made him his partner in making ships to go to Tarshish, and they built the ships in Ezion-Geber. However, Eliezer, the son of Dodavahu of Marisha, spoke prophetically against Jehoshaphat, saying,
Because you have made an alliance with Ahaziah, Jehovah will destroy your works.
So the ships were wrecked, and they were unable to go to Tarshish. Chapter 21. Then Jehoshaphat was laid to rest with his forefathers, and was buried with his forefathers in the city of David. And his son Jehoram became king in his place. His brothers, Jehoshaphat's sons, were Azariah, Jehiel, Zechariah, Azariah, Michael, and Shephatiah. All of these were the sons of King Jehoshaphat of Israel. And their father had given them many gifts in silver and gold and valuable things, along with fortified cities in Judah. But he gave the kingdom to Jehoram, for he was the firstborn. When Jehoram had taken control of the kingdom of his father, he strengthened his position by killing all his brothers with the sword, as well as some of the princes of Israel. Jehoram was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 8 years in Jerusalem. He walked in the way of the kings of Israel, just as those of the house of Ahab had done. For Ahab's daughter had become his wife, and he kept doing what was bad in Jehovah's eyes. But Jehovah did not want to bring the house of David to ruin for the sake of the covenant that he had made with David, since he had promised to give a lamp to him and to his sons always. In his days, Edom revolted against Judah and then set up its own king. So Jehoram and his commanders crossed over with all his chariots, and he rose up by night and defeated the Edomites who were surrounding him and the chariot commanders.
Last chapter.
But Edom has kept up its revolt against Judah to this day. Libnah also revolted against him at that time, because he had abandoned Jehovah the God of his forefathers. He had also made high places on the mountains of Judah to cause the inhabitants of Jerusalem to commit spiritual prostitution, and he led Judah astray. Eventually, a written message came to him from Elijah the prophet, saying,
"This is what Jehovah, the God of David, your forefather, says. You have not walked in the ways of your father Jehoshaphat, or in the ways of King Asa of Judah, but you walk in the way of the kings of Israel, and cause Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to commit spiritual prostitution, like the prostitution of the house of Ahab. And you even killed your own brothers, the household of your father, who were better than you. Therefore, Jehovah is dealing a great blow to your people, to your sons, to your wives, and to all your possessions. And you will suffer with many sicknesses, including a disease of your intestines, until your intestines come out because of the disease, day after day."
Then Jehovah stirred up against Jehoram the Philistines and the Arabs who were near the Ethiopians. So they invaded Judah, forcing their way in, and carried off all the possessions that were found in the king's house, as well as his sons and his wives. And the only son left to him was Jehoahaz, his youngest son. And after all of this, Jehovah afflicted him with an incurable disease in his intestines. Sometime later, when 2 full years had passed, his intestines came out because of his disease, and he died while suffering severely from his disease. And his people did not make a burning for him like the burning that was made for his forefathers. He was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 8 years in Jerusalem. No one regretted it when he died. So they buried him in the city of David, but not in the burial places of the kings. Chapter 20.
Hold on. Whew. That was a close call because I don't want to choke today. Exactly. I'm okay. I'm good. She wants to play. She doesn't know how to wait. She's a dog. Let me fling it for her. Oh, you little twerp. She stole it. Let me flame something for her. Oh. Oh no. Maybe she can get it. It went right underneath that. I'll get that in a second. So, is Carol here? Nope. See, the reason why I put the phone so the camera's on this side instead of this side is I can see the comments. Ivy, I'll get it in a minute. Wait a minute, okay? Hold on. You gotta wait a minute. You gotta be patient. She knows what wait a minute means. You gotta wait. Because when she was a puppy, you gotta wait. And she laid right down and waited for me until I was done, and then I picked her up and everything. So, people that lurk, if you have any requests, please put it in the comments below, please. Okay? Oh, I forgot to do something on, oh well. But, put it in the comments below. Any requests, if you want to hear a certain Bible story again, there's no harm in reading it again. I have to find them again because I took it off my favorite list because I'm done with it. So, if there's other stories there, I will find them. Oh, and verse request, you want me to put as a short. Remember, it's going to take a little while for it to work, but you can make a short up to 3 minutes. But the thing is, I don't know when that's going to start. If it does, when it does start, I could do longer verse requests. So right now, we'll just leave it up to under a minute, and then we'll go from there. When I notice that some of my videos I put up, that's 3 minutes long or 2 minute long, and it's part of the shorts. But I'm gonna figure out a verse of the day. Sometimes if I can't think of one, I go to the daily text and I pick one from there. Of course, I read them all. So I love you. Don't forget. Love, don't judge, and don't hold the judge. Peace out.